Yo, what up, what up, what up? Got my rocking the vacation shirt, man. Feeling old, man. Even got my socks pulled all the way up and shit. You understand? But but today, man, I'm gonna talk about a few things, man. This is just kind of like a smorgasbord. Um, there's the you know what I'm saying, World Economic Forum. I added their channel on YouTube just because that as far as innovation, when you talk about Illuminati, a lot of us look at things that are like deep and seedy. The deep and seedy things are the most fabricated. You're going to find a lot more in things like the World Economic Forum and what have you about the plans for the future and what have you. And right now, since COVID and quarantine and what have you, we have the breakdown of the economy in terms of now people work from home. The economy can't get people to come back into work, so it has become what they call a gig economy, meaning that whether you DoorDash, whether you do Uber and what have you, and it's more and more of those, because like I know one brother that's caught in a situation where while it's a amazing market to sell your place, or it's a very bad time to move, and that's why I didn't do it, because I can make a lot of money right now on what I have, but at the same time, I also have to move into another spot, and that spot's going to be overpriced. So you have a lot of people that are living out of their cars and what have you, and it's a gig economy. And they're saying that all these jobs are opening up, you guys, but honestly, it's not that many jobs still. It's just more like warehouse and factory jobs. They have opened up more warehouses and factories. So this will divide the social economic classes. You know, people that are like, you know what I'm saying, like me, you'll end up with more than likely a security job, working a factory, doing custodial work. Um, you might be able to get by with some secretary positions if you're a female. But generally, that's what it is. We put together parts, and you guys, a lot of this Lupe Fiasco on his WWJD, which is universally short for What Would Jesus Do mixtape album. You guys, he was on some prophetic stuff. I mean, honestly, Holy Spirit must have been in there, because he was talking about things that had not came yet. And this is the so-called gig economy, so to speak. Like, people are getting paid per job, and that's what a gig economy is. And amidst this turmoil, we have inflation. Okay, so with the increase on the price of gas, if your gig is to deliver food or goods and items and what have you, it's really depending on how much the gas prices raise. It's going to depend a lot more on tips, and people are people are stressed in. They just don't have it. um uh so yeah, but it's a huge market for uh factories, warehouses, Uber, Drive Eats, Lyft, and so on. um the reason why they want to provide options in a gig economy uh is they want to create insurance for this gig economy. So your health insurance, uh Medicaid, Medicare, whatever the heck, health insurance, life insurance, they want to find a way to put that over the gig economy, which is, I guess, good for those who have those gigs. But at the same time, at the same time, we really know that they don't really care about you. All right, they don't care about you. So they are trying to find more effective ways of controlling the free market, because a gig economy is kind of like a free market. Okay, if you control the free market, you can best believe the war on drugs, so to speak, the war on drugs is pretty much over, because every dollar can be tracked as they get into this digital currency system and what have you. And if we have a gig economy, you know, if you have a gig economy and you control the free market, you control the employees that don't report to a base location every single day. It's a lot easier for the FBI or the CIA to move. And it also is, you don't know anyone, you don't know who's delivering your food. You don't know who you're talking to in a certain type of place, or who you're getting a ride from in a lift or whatever. All of these people could be potentially agents. And one level, they might not be an agent as far as work for the police, but they are hive. When I talk about agents, I'm talking about people being hive. Now, the sleep won't understand what I'm talking about, but the people are sleepwalking, that's under mind control, man. That's who's around you all the time. And it's sorcery and witchcraft. So you have a society full of agents that don't report to a base place. They're a lot more difficult to track and a lot more easier to be able to be controlled. So by linking in the perks and the insurance to these things, this is not me knocking it and trying to say that these people are absolutely evil. But let's be honest, they really don't care whether you have insurance or not. So what is this about? All right. We know that in terms of society, that the drugs and the fiends won't disappear. All right. So we have to ask ourselves, like, if the drugs and the fiends aren't going to disappear, it's a lot easier to transport and move drugs around. See, a lot of people, if they were listening to this, if you from the streets, you think, well, he's on my side because he knows how hard it is out here, and I got to get my sling on. No, I'm not on your side, man. I'm not for you again. I'm just for the truth. All right. Nobody's perfect. I got my own issues, but, like, you know what I mean? If you're doing something illegal, you probably shouldn't do it. That's what I would say. You know. But as far as, like, that's why I bring up that point. I balance that, and I also say it's a lot easier to move drugs. All right. Now, this is knowledge. It could be used for good or evil. You know what I mean? And this type of economy and market, which the truth is, the CIA, the FBI, and the people who are selling the drugs on the streets, they both want this type of thing to happen for it to become more confusing, for it to become more chaotic. This is something that either side of them will work because they operate or work in darkness. You see that? There's light and there's darkness. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to move and align myself with the light and the truth. So the fact of the matter is this, man, like, it's a different world, man. Things are changing. And so I'm saying, if you put insurance in on a person in this gig economy, it's like a machination or another facet in which someone can be tracked or monitored in a place where they don't report to a base location, with many people also who are living out of their cars. It's just another thing for their information in which they could be tracked. It's just something to think about. And I guess that's all I had on that, man. I guess I was going to put out a few shout outs just real quick, because I watch these brothers' videos sometimes. There's Bahamut, all right. He believes, it's commonly thought that, targets or whatever are thought to have some form of mental illness. This is what I would say. Everybody is mentally ill. All right. That's the fall of man. Everybody is mentally ill. People are so scared to be outspoken, man, because it's like, what if they dig up my past or something like that and put it out? Listen, man. There's nothing. Hey, man. I could be the worst of us, but there would be nothing more deplorable that I've done that is signified as normal anymore. You got people where it's legal to have fornication with animals in Canada, man. I mean, as long as you ain't a pedophile, you ain't mess with no animals, man. I wouldn't really worry about all this other stuff. Is superficial distractions. The insecurities, all of those are just stumbling blocks for yourself. The rest of you people are asleep. They don't even know what they're saying 5 minutes after they say it. All right? It's like someone with dementia. What, Martha? What'd you say? I'm just playing. I'm just playing. So mental illness, a lot of times, if you have an illness, you recognize it because you're facing the problem. You're facing the problem, and therefore you recognize the illness. For people who don't face the problem, they go along. How would they recognize a mental illness? There's no impact. There's no friction. All right. Pressure makes diamonds. Mental illness could be is also a gift that could form into abilities. You understand what I'm saying? If you look at Monk, he had OCD, where it made him a great detective. These are things to think about. These things that would be signified as superpowers. How many movies have you seen where the person who was outcast was the person who was blessed? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the whole nine. So that's something I want y'all to keep in mind. I have down here NLP, mirror technique, switchfoot, insecurity. So anybody out there that's like that's bringing up something that may be some type of insecurity or anything like that about you, gang stalking or whatever, you can easily flip that. This is a person, just by bringing it up, is highly invested in something that they're unsure of. And them being highly invested and unsure of, sometimes when you check behind there, it's honesty, and that's an individual you can help. You understand? These people are not outspoken as you would think. They will stand together in groups, but by themselves, like one-man army type shit, they ain't built like that. All right? I want to tell Bahamut, it's not Pittsburgh, bro. It is worldwide. I even knew a dude in Alaska that was getting gang stalked, and he would come out the bathroom. It's like people who could read his mind and stuff like that. It's, you know what I'm saying? It's everywhere, man. It's horrible everywhere. I live in the Midwest, and it's like it's time warp. These people racist as hell out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, not regular 2022 racist, but like it's like I went back to the 50s or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a full-time job not to hit someone in their head. You know what I'm saying? I noticed you said that God is a man in the sky. If you read your scripture or you understand the Bible, you will actually understand that God says nothing about being in the sky anywhere. He talks about heavens. What is cosmic or astral is different than what is physical. All right? The womb that you are in, or what we can call the matrix, is all around you, but what you see is the 3D world. God is that light that is inside of you, your consciousness. All right? But you not recognizing God for who he is, or recognize or dealing with Christ, people think that I'm trying to persuade them. I'm not. I don't care. It's just that there's no current. You're like a light that's trying to be turned on, but like when you flip the switch, like there's no electrical current. You know what I'm saying? You got to plug the light in. You know what I'm saying? You don't recognize yourself. You're not self-aware. So all you can recognize is what's around you. You can't recognize what's going on in you. That's why people focus on their target. The work, to do spiritual work, you got to work on what comes within, dealing with those blockages and what have you. You know what I'm saying? People who are targeting you, this is an obstacle to be more social. It's funny. Change the perspective of your mind. It's not crazy. It's not annoying. Some things are very annoying, but like, it's funny. If you just start thinking, it's funny. It's a lot more to laugh about than to trip on. All right. As far as like, isolation, man. Isolated people see the most, man. Isolated people see the most. Okay. To my homie Young Steel, I also lost my father. I will say this. When people got anything to say about your pops, man, it's like this. How you know my father may not be how I know my father. But I know myself, therefore I know my father. What would he say about you? Then I would put that in their mind, and then I would think about what I truly see in them spiritually by connecting to the Most High. And generally you will find a lot of dirt. Unspoken things, everything will start to illuminate. You'll see that person. All right. This is just an attempt to make you insecure and get close to you. That's what I feel. It's highly demonic. They sleepwalking. All right. So in close, everyone is a target, but not all are the same. The majority that is stuck is hive. The true minority is multi-race, meaning this targeting makes up all races. We are the focus of this situation. It's the hive. We're dealing with light and dark. We're dealing with spiritual warfare. Few have the fire. Few have the fire to speak. All right. Some are new and may need strength. In other words, they may need your help in understanding what's going on. So this is what we're on, some breaking ground type stuff. Peace and blessings be with you all. I'm out.